Going around the table, who here considers themselves a feminist?
Can we have the definition before you ask that question?
Somebody who hates men?
Not me. I'm straight.
Huh?
I said not me.
Well, I suppose you could still be
By
straight and
definition,
hate men.
Well, no, I mean,
there's a lot of men.
They are
hating.
difficult. I'm not gonna lie, but no, I don't hate men.
Okay. All right, I'm being a little facetious.
Well,
but,
we went by your definition.
a feminist, somebody who believes things that aren't true. I'm sorry, I'm not being
Well,
very.
then I definitely am a feminist.
I'm not being very generous here.
Yeah.
I believe all things untrue only.
All right, here.
Just open
the
Google, stop
most
spitballing.
generous definition: somebody who advocates for women and the rights of women. That's the most generous definition I can give feminism.
By that definition, for sure.
Yeah.
So far, it's been
but
no, yes, no, yes. So it depends on what your definition, I suppose.
that's the most generous definition I can give it.
Do you
though.
have a
Well,
Can-
by
I mean-
going by that definition.
Do you have maybe a counter definition for feminism?
No, I don't. That's the thing is like when he says that, I want to be specific what it is because of the debate that he's trying to get into. So I just want to be specific.
Okay, so my view of feminism is, and I don't object to women's advocacy or women's rights, but
because by definition, then
they're trying to paint it as this. Again, there's nothing wrong to fight for women's advocacy or women's rights, but they claim to be fighting for equality. And that's very different than women's rights or women's advocacy. So my view is, for example, if there is some form of equality that does not stand to benefit women, said feminists will not fight in order to secure said equality. Where feminists or women do not stand to benefit from some form of equality, they will not fight for it.
I guess by that definition, I'm not then. Because
So it's not clear. So I guess when it comes to feminists saying they're for equality, it's not clear to me if they're
I
for
just feel
equality.
like we have different strengths, so I wouldn't believe that we could be equal. Like we do have different strengths, and I think we should be celebrated for those different strengths instead of trying to become each other.
Wouldn't it be in the way that we've equalized a lot of things in society, given women equal rights? Wouldn't it be equal to make women subject to military conscription? That would be equality,
Right.
but I'm pretty sure.
I don't believe
I've
that
never
we're the
heard a
same.
feminist object to that.
Yeah.
No, feminists would say we want to do away with military conscription, which is just not politically tenable for any. It's never going to happen. You can't do away with military conscription.
I'm pretty sure feminists will say that they want to be drafted. You're thinking of maybe like trad wives, but feminists do
No,
not
most-
say that.
Trad wife.
Most
A woman
if.
with very traditional feminist
What about this? In Florida,
What do you mean?
there was a bill to equalize.
Why do you think feminists would say that?
No, trad wife. Oh.
Do you think feminists have like fought to want to enter male-dominated spaces even if they don't benefit them? Maybe not like
Only
trying
for
to
cushion-
Instagram
only-
They don't. Like, for instance, feminists don't fight to go and have teams against professional male NFL players, do they?
But they
No, that's a men's space. Do feminists try to go and advocate that they can have teams of women go play football against male NFL players?
They literally do, and then people laugh at them, which is somewhat justified in my opinion. And people say like
They literally
there's no,
don't.
Are
They
you
literally
serious?
are not out there advocating for that.
sure.
They're
Brian,
out
have you
there
not heard it?
advocating for their own teams against women, but
No.
not really teams against men in contact
Brian,
sports.
have you
right?
never heard a feminist say that there should be desegregation of gender in sports?
Yeah, but they're talking
what?
to the T issue.
I don't
They're
think.
not talking to that.
I don't.
No. I didn't mean in terms of T issue. Have you heard feminists say that like, oh, we as female athletes want to compete with male athletes? Because I feel like that is something that they say, and I think that's a more laughable point of feminism.
It's possible they've said it, but I've never heard
Yeah,
that.
that's I've never even seen what I've seen feminists do is move legislation towards having their own teams,
Right, yeah,
having their
yeah.
own leagues, having the female version of the the WNBA, having all of that. I've never seen them advocate to have teams actually go up against the male. I've never seen that.
With the T issue, just questioning as that progresses, and I don't know how we're going to end up, but I mean, that's going to end up being in question.
Yeah, but the feminists are against the T's.
Some of them, but some of them are not.
Most of them are. Most of the feminists are against the T's because of this, because they say, we fought all this time to get our own leagues, and now you're going to let men in them. That's why they're so mad,
I
right?
mean, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that this is an incorrect analysis, honestly.
I think I'm just too deep in the feminist discourse. So like feminists go after TERFs and TERFs go after people who say that. So I think like I see it.
Well, TERFs are the feminists. The other ones aren't feminists. The other ones are postmodernists, and they just kind of call themselves feminists. But TERFs are actual feminists. Those were the ones who were in the 60s, who were burning their bras and doing all that shit. That's
why I think
TERFs.
it's kind of like counterproductive to even say like, oh, do feminists do this or this? Because even within feminist discourse, like they all hate each other and each other's principles.
But that doesn't mean that there's not certain principles they both go towards.
Like
so,
what?
in this case, egalitarianism, that would be one of the major ones, and the assumption that men and women can be interchangeable widgets, whether or not they advocate and move legislation towards something that makes sense, like if we actually were interchangeable widgets, should women's team, go up against men's NFL teams, they may not push that way, right? Instead, they push towards having their own teams, this and that, but definitely there's core underlying principles that they're after.
I completely disagree. I feel like I'm just way too deep in it. Like I just always hear them butt heads. It's like whether we should have a category for like female Jeopardy winners, or some feminists think that that's super degrading to women. I see all the conflict.
Okay, so when I'm talking about principles, let's make sure we clarify this. You and I would agree on what egalitarianism is, do you think? Or would we need to define it?
Yeah, could you?
What's that?
Yeah, could you give your definition?
Of egalitarianism, it would be like a form of movement towards equality.
Right, but even that's kind of vague, right? Because there's so many different ways people can interpret it.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point, we're going to have to reduce it to something we can agree on. So what do you think egalitarianism is? Would that work for this or no?
No, it would, but like I'm saying, like feminism, again, is also a definition of pushing towards women's rights and equality, but then there's so much conflict about how you actually achieve that and what it means. So that's why I feel like we should get more specific.
Yeah. What I'm saying with the principle, though, like the principle of egalitarianism, you're not going to say that modern feminists and TERFs and all of them don't believe in the principle of egalitarianism. You're not going to say any of them do. Like, that's one core for the analysis of the whole that you would say is a principle they have in common.
I'm not even trying to be devil's advocate. I'm genuinely disagreeing because I think a lot of TERFs will say, like, we need our own spaces because we're physically weaker. Like, we need to be a protected class.
That's still egalitarianism.
Okay. So then egalitarianism just feels really broad right now.
Well, no, there could be an analysis of which way you move for what is equal, but they still believe in the principle of the thing.
Okay. I just disagree. Like I said, I think a lot of TERFs will say that, like, we are a weaker gender. We need to be protected.
You think TERFs will say I don't believe in egalitarianism, honestly?
I would, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Like I just said, the
like
ones
the
who
whole
think
thing
we
that
should
makes
be a
them
protected
TERFs
class.
is they're like, we fought for women's rights and equality and egalitarianism, and now the T's are coming in and wrecking all that by allowing men into women's space. That's their whole thing.
Right, and typically they're saying it on the premise that women are the weaker physically gender, and so they want to be a protected class. They want to have locker rooms to themselves in which... You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they're saying if men can have their own teams, we can have our own teams. That's egalitarianism, right?
I'm just saying, I've seen so many feminists say that they want to compete with men in sports. I've seen so many feminists say we want to be a protected class. I've seen some say we don't want a separate category for like female awards and intellectualism and
yeah,
Jeopardy.
But the principle would still be overlapping all of those.
I guess, but then the principle seems kind of irrelevant to the conversation because it doesn't actually get at any of the issues that are being discussed.
Then one of the my favorite things that you've said all night then is that egalitarianism is so broad we don't even know what the fuck it means.
Okay.
So,
all right,
I'm fine with that.
We have a chat here. I pulled this up earlier, but it was directed at you, Andrew. Andrew, I respect your conviction, but you can be nicer. That's from Lum de Sky from Canada.
I feel like people often conflate when you're having a heated argument or discussion, or you say things which are uncomfortable. That's meanness.
Doing like this.
I associate.
It's definitely not kind.
Yeah, I associate. I don't care what a woman's analysis on what kindness is or meanness. I have a different standard clearly on what those things are. I don't think that it's cruelty or being unkind or being mean to say things which are obviously objectively true that people just don't want to hear because it makes them uncomfortable.
That's not objectively true that I shouldn't have children. That is not objectively true.
I didn't say you shouldn't have children.
You did. You were like, yes.
Nope.
Your movement
was
not.
What happened was she said, I don't want to have children. And I went, yes.
Your movement was an indication of your opinion.
Her.
But that action alone is what we're talking about.
And that
What's wrong with that action?
It's not kind.
Why is it unkind? That's what she said.
Because you did it with malice.
Thank you.
So it's in the tone, not what is said. That's my point.
Oh, come on. You can at least concede that you did that to be a bit of an ass.
Nothing.
I mean, he literally said it was an asshole move.
No,
so.
Yeah, you literally said
concession.
it. Can we rewind?
Like literally,
you did say that.
Roll the tape.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, but you did it to be like cheeky and a little bit.
Yeah. So the thing is like, was it hilarious? Yes. But was it mean? No. It wasn't mean.
Was it hilarious? Mediocre at best.
Again,
was it
subjective.
mean? Yes.
Then why were you laughing?
I wasn't laughing.
Well, you should have been.
Well, I didn't.
I know, but she was.
Okay, well, there you got one.
You should have popped her one.
Okay. I'm not going to do that.
So, anyone have anything dating related they'd like to get off their chest here? I'd like to talk about dating for a little portion of the show, if you guys don't mind.
Oh, you're mediating now. I love that.
I'm trying a little bit. I'm trying my best.